Now, GJRB Online returns to the last 7 days, presented commercial free.
And now we get to middle school student ordered to sing Ode to Islam in social studies class. A social studies teacher at a tax-funded middle school in Orange County, California, has incensed some of the local parents by instructing her 7th graders to learn and sing a song about how great Islam is. The site of the singing was the Springview Middle School in Huntington Beach. The teacher made up the verses and set a ditty to the rousing tune of a fight song by Rachel Patton. Here's a snippet of lyrics. Like a sandstorm in the desert, sending camels into motion, like how a single faith can make a heart open. They might only have one God, but they can make an explosion. Of course they can. Now, I can't see how this is politically correct on several levels. The fact they use the word explosion, is that racist too, isn't it?
Yeah.
But anyhow, this teacher made up a song and had the 7th grade class singing this song about how great Islam is. Okay. Then we get out to Utah. A 9th grade teacher in Utah gave students a homework assignment this week that their parents outraged. It caused quite a little stir online. Just right after the Paris attacks, the teacher assigns the 9th grade students to create an ISIS recruiting poster. I think they're probably doing pretty well on their own.
This kind of fascinates me. You wonder, where are all the American teachers? And
they're there, but they're not allowed to say anything.
Yeah.
How come, like, peer pressure doesn't nail these radical teachers? And how come all the weird ones are in charge of our education now?
Well, anyhow, this person did quit it, so they did get some heat from parents. So but they're Utah, so
Yeah.
Salem Junior High in Salt Lake City.
Oh, Salt Lake City, yeah.
So
they're right in the middle of Mormon country there.
Yeah, no trouble with this one. Anyhow, they had to cease and desist. They sat the teacher down and told them they can't be writing citing making recruitment posters for ISIS. Army chaplains. This shows that it's spread across all of the world. Army chaplains in Australia have to remove Conqueror from their 102-year-old motto because it's offensive to Muslims. Yes. The Australian Army is removing the motto in this sign Conqueror from the 102-year-old hat badges of Army chaplains because it's offensive to Muslims. The move comes after an imam approved by the Ram Mufti was appointed to join the Religious Advisory Committee to the services of June. Australian Army chaplains have had the motto on their hats since 1913. The motto of the Australian Army chaplains is being changed to better reflect the diversity of religion throughout the Australian. Like, we're no longer conquerors anymore. We are, I don't know.
Do with those egos,
Yeah.
What they want.
They want us hiding in caves.
Yeah.
Without heads.
And of course, Obama compares unvetted Syrian Muslim migrants to pilgrims are the Mayflower. This Thanksgiving, President Obama is calling the Americans to lend a helping hand to another group of pilgrims fleeing persecution. There's a little bit difference here.
This is why I call him the president.
These are the ones causing the persecution. Nearly 4 centuries after the Mayflower set sail, the world is still full of pilgrims, men and women who want nothing more than a chance for a safe and better future for themselves and their families, and the privilege to be able to strap bombs onto those families.
Start their own country.
Yeah.
Our country.
I mentioned this on Sunday, a couple weeks ago. Muslims attack Muslim attack Christians with pickaxe after leaving Islam. Ex-Muslim targeted for speaking out about his conversion to Christianity. This is in England, in the town of Bradford. Nasser Hassan, 49, suffered a broken kneecap and a fractured forearm and a concussion after hooded Muslims punched and kicked him and struck him with a pickaxe. That could have been much worse.
Yeah.
Outside of his home in Bradford on Tuesday. This is, basically. He said that he was targeted likely because he appeared in the 2008 documentary about the mistreatment of ex-Muslim Christians. Since the documentary was released, Hassan and his family have suffered thousands of dollars worth of damage to their vehicles and property. We are classed as blasphemers by some members of the Muslim community. Stated they call scum and treat us like we're second-class citizens. This is in England. Okay. Federal ban on Christmas trees and music sparks controversy in Virginia. Federal ban on Christmas trees and Christmas carols recently sparked outrage in Virginia. Christianity Today reports that Salem Veterans Affairs Medical Center received an email saying that it could not display Christmas decorations or play Christmas music because doing so would promote Christianity. The veterans, all veterans organizations are not supposed to play any Christmas music or have any sort of Christmas trees.
On top of not treating our veterans right in the first place, they're going to do this.
You got one in there about the president, Charlie Brown?
Well, he spoke on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know about that?
Go ahead. It was last night.
I like to hear this.
Go ahead.
Well, you know that Charlie Brown, his Christmas thing,
50th anniversary.
Linus had his big speech, and it was all about Jesus' birth, and actually Charles Schultz fought the network in order to put that in there.
Right, yes he did.
Yeah, he did.
And
How many years ago did he fight for that?
50 years.
Well, it was 1955 when that first came on.
Anyway, so our president mentions that his fondest memories were watching the Charlie Brown Christmas specials with his kids, and what the true meaning of that was is that every small tree has a place in society, and didn't mention anything about, the birth of our Lord. But it was all about the birth of our Lord Jesus Christ. And he forgot to mention anything about Jesus.
Of course.
But him and his wife agreed so wholeheartedly that it was about, the weak being strong. And
well, I saw yesterday that I don't have the article with me, but in Bethlehem they're toning the Christmas spirit down this year because it offends Muslims still. So they have a Christmas tree, huge Christmas tree, and they're putting lights on it. But the tree topper is a Palestinian Authority flag.
how does that work?
There's a flag on top of the tree. They're Palestinian Authority. Like that.
I can't believe so.
That's quite the tree topper.
Man. It's really getting difficult. Everywhere you go, it's like Happy Holidays.
Yeah.
No one says Merry Christmas. So I figured, well, it probably is not Merry Christmas to the retailers. I think I'm going to start saying back in Happy Money Month or something, because that's really what it's all about.
Oh, yeah.
How much money can we get?
It's the heavy commercialism, which has always been the focal point of Christmas. This is why they started to blame it early.
Well, anyhow, Olive Tree Ministries have been suspended off of YouTube because they've suffered their third strike now.
I heard that.
Yeah, I heard that one
They
too.
did a video called "Killing Christians," loving the faith where it's not safe to believe, and so they cut them off of YouTube. Oh.
But they reinstated them, apparently.
Yes.
Well, yeah, YouTube isn't about truth. Right?
No. Okay. I thought this was kind of interesting. In Rome here, they found this place, underground basilica. They found it in 1917. It's an underground basilica. It was used by a pagan cult. It was used by Nero's mom. Nero's mom, that was quite the person. It was.
It was underneath the.
40 feet underneath the ground. It's a basilica. I mean, you can see this is scaffolding. They're working on it, but huge basilica underground, 40 feet underground. They found it in 1917. They finally got it done now. There's an archway.
Wow.
But anyhow, it was used by the mother of King Nero. It was used for black magic.
Imagine that.
She was accused by the Senate for her addiction to magical superstitions. And there was a guy who was wealthy, who was a big promoter of it. The guy committed suicide because he was, evidently it was too weird for Roman culture.
That's got to be weird if it's too weird for Roman culture.
Yeah, right. It was right in the time of Paul, too. Mm-hmm. The guy committed suicide that funded putting it together, building the basilica. He committed suicide in 53 A.D. The basilica eventually fell into disrepair and was sealed off during the reign of Emperor Claudius. This guy.
Fascinating.
Okay.
Lovely.
Next.
You said the worst for last.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I like Ben Carson. But this may not be one of his better ideas. Carson, a database on every citizen.
Well, there you go. Hey.
Which, the whole thing of it is. Which the whole thing of it is I don't think that's really a new idea. But anyhow, this is.
Don't they have that already?
Yeah.
On Friday, Republican President candidate Ben Carson said, "I think we should have a database on everybody who comes into this country. And hopefully, we already have a database on every citizen who is already here. If we don't, we are doing a poor job."
Wait a minute. They have
Well, people, maybe needs a database. Maybe needs a database on illegal immigrants. Is that what it is?
For every alien?
Well, but also for every person who's in their country too.
Oh, we already got that.
Well,
I think we've
kind of been saying some weird things anyway, like some things about the refugees. He's got a double face on that.
He's getting the
He's saying that we shouldn't allow them in unless they're completely vetted, which nobody knows how to completely vet.
Yeah, like you call up Syria.
Yeah.
I got Joe Smo here. What do you think? Is he a good guy?
Anyway, he went over to the war-torn Syria to visit the widows and the orphans, the real ones.
Right.
And came back and then said, "Why don't we just help them over there instead of bringing them here?"
Well, Glenn Beck has actually raised up $12 million to bring 12,000 Christian families from Syria here to the United States.
What was that one article you had? Only about 60 or something were Christians that have come in.
I think 45 out
That
of
was small.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's turning them away.
They've been turning them away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is about our president also.
It's everywhere you look.
Yeah.
Almost like an antichrist.
This is about Salem. Salem.
Oh,
Okay.
wonderful person.
Yes, wonderful.
Lovely. Marvelous.
Salem was a Russian-born Jewish immigrant. Lived from 1909 to 1972 and is credited with coining the term community organizer.
Mm-hmm.
His tenets were
Nice
outlined.
socialist.
Communist. His tenets are outlined in his well-known book, Rules for Radical, published in 1971. Nicknamed The Red, Alinsky dedicated his book, tongue-in-cheek, okay, now who does this? To Lucifer, who he says was the first radical. Well, that's probably some truth to that. Nothing like our president.
Yeah.
His role model in life, and the one who provided the first job as community organizer for him, whose book is wrote to the dedication of Satan. Can't make this stuff up. Anyhow.
Ushering in the one world order and the satanic reign.
So it's just really hard. It's just really kind of hard to believe that that we have spiritual warfare in our nation.
Yeah.
Okay, Obama never met Alinsky, but he was schooled and tutored by a hardcore Alinsky protege, John L. McKnight. So he never met Alinsky, but he was trained by a disciple of Alinsky's.
Well, that explains who he is and what he is.
Establishment, I'm just reading a little part here. Establishment is the root of all their problems. Alinsky's aim for community organizers is to bait the opposition. The enemy properly goaded or guided into reacting will be your major strength, Alinsky penned. We believe in creating uprest by searching out controversial issues and convincing people they can actually affect change. Considering Black Lives Matter and income equality as two examples. He was not above utilizing paid outside agitators to get public participation, fanning hostilities, and stirring up raw emotion. Alinsky was a master at awakening community apathy and inertia, disturbing prevailing complacency. The first step in community organizing, this is interesting, this is what he learned. The first step in community organization is community disorganization. Alinsky was known to preach. The first step in community organization is community disorganization.
Lovely.
So, I mean, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So,
Break down the community continuity so you can rally people around you.
exactly. So, of course, that could suspend elections, too.
Well, yeah. That's what we're trying for right now. Last year.
That's what we're trying for. Okay, this was said November 30th. Pope Francis says this: fundamentalism is a sickness.
And he has an illness.
On the plane returning from his journey to Africa today, Pope Francis made the clearest remarks in condemnation to the fundamentalist Catholics. Fundamentalism is a sickness that is in all religions. Francis says, as he reported by the National Catholic Reporters Vatican correspondent Joshua McKeon. And similarly by other journalists on the plane. We Catholics have some, but not some many, who believe the absolute truth and go ahead dirtying the others with disinformation and doing evil. They do evil, said the Pope. I say this because it is in my church. We have to combat it. He said, religious fundamentalism is not religious because it lacks God. It is idolatry like the idolatry of money. Turning to Islam, the Pope spoke of his friendship with Muslims, adding, you cannot cancel out a religion because there are some people or many groups in a certain point in history of fundamentalism. Like everything, there are religious people with values and those without, he said. But how many wars have Christians made?
Seriously?
Well, Catholics.
Yeah, Catholicism.
The sacking of Rome was not done by Muslims. Well, yeah. But that turned out to be actually a positive thing. Because, that Constantine was a fundamentalist.
Yeah.
On the same flight, a journalist asked him about the use of condoms against AIDS. Pope acknowledged condoms were a method of prevention, saying that the church was faced with a perplexity whether to follow the fifth commandment, thou shalt not kill, or sexual relations are open until life. But anyhow, fundamentalism is bad. Not so bad for Muslims, evidently, but it's bad.
Remember about a year ago that I mentioned that this movement of making the word religion evil and how much damage it was going to do? See, if you can't take out Christianity, you take out what Christianity falls under, the idea of religion. And as soon as you make all religion evil, then Christianity becomes evil too.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of interesting. If you're a fundamentalist, you are sick. You are sick.
I'll put it this way. If we're sick, then what's the Pope?
I know, but the Pope...
But of course,
He's a good socialist, and Trump was real eager to tell him that this week.
Here, Pope calls for new global political authority.
There you go.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
We need an Antichrist. Pope Francis will this week call for changes in lifestyle and energy consumption to avert the unprecedented destruction of the ecosystem before the end of the century, according to a leaked draft of the papal encyclical. In a document released by the Italian magazine on Monday, the pontiff will warn that failure to act would have grave consequences for all of us, the UK Guardian reported. Francis was also called for a new global political authority tasked with tackling the reduction of pollution to develop the development of 4 countries and regions.
And who was it that just went to the UN about, global warming causing wars and...
Yeah. And it created ISIS.
So we need a new global political authority.
I think we probably already got one.
Yeah. Okay, Rob Bell. Okay, Rob Bell. Big friend of Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, yes.
Wrote several books. Really good. Really don't believe anything about the Bible hardly. Was the pastor of Mars Hill Bible Church in Grandview, Michigan. 12,000 members. He quit.
Christianity was real effective there, wasn't it?
Quit in 2012, and they hired this new guy, Kent Dobson.
Oh, nice name.
Yes. Kent Dobson. Rob Bell's successor steps down now as pastor of Mars Hill. Being a pastor is not who I am. So some interesting things.
Oh, really?
The teaching pastor who took over the controversial author and pastor Rob Bell of Mars Hill Bible Church in Granville, Michigan, announced Sunday that he will soon be leaving the church and explained that being a pastor is not really who I am. Kent Dobson, who assumed the teaching pastor's position at the 12,000-member mega church when Bell left the congregation and moved to California in 2012, told the congregation during a Sunday service that he was stepping down from the role of in the coming months to pursue a greater mystery.
Greater mystery.
Greater mystery.
This is where it gets that.
Oh, no.
He told the congregants that he never felt right serving in the role of pastor because he has always been drawn to the edges of religion and faith in God. He has even stated a few times that he doesn't know what we mean by God anymore.
There you go.
What does God really mean? I am not drawn to orthodox. See, he's not sick, you see.
Religion is evil.
I am not drawn to orthodox or to the mainstream or to the status quo. I think all churches have to have a center. That's what defines who they are. You know, you think maybe Christ. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
But I am always wandering out to the edge and beyond, hoping to fall off the cliff from time to time. Dobson added. All that to say, it's hard to be a teaching pastor and question and challenge the church. At the same time, I get paid for it. It feels kind of weird, and it has for some time. Dobson, who has a gay brother, explained that some people asked him if he was leaving Mars Hill because the church is not liberal enough for him. Dobson, who is affirming Christian, assured that was not the reason. Being the pastor at the church is not really who I am. Dobson, whose father, Ed Dobson, and grandfather were both pastors, stated, "If I pretend to do something that I am not, it is not good for me. In the end, it's not good for you. I don't think either." Dobson, who previously was a religion teacher at North Point Christian School, has led tours to Israel, also explains that he gets restless and a bit homeless when it comes to God talk. He gets restless and a bit homeless when it comes to God talk. Restless and homeless. But I guess he took the pay at 12.
Well,
you know.
Yeah, because now he has the luxury of going and finding himself.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
They get all that kind of money. And then finally, I have a couple of temple stories. Temple Institute announces plan for a herd of red heifers. They were going to Spain, I believe. Now they're going to it's right outside of Jerusalem, I think. Temple Institute has announced plans to raise a herd of red heifers according to the Levitical standards in preparation for the third temple. The Temple Institute has joined forces with an experienced cattle rancher in Israel to raise a herd of red heifers. Under the rabbi's supervision, the program will utilize a technique of implanting frozen embryos in red Angus cattle. Red Angus.
Fascinating.
With Israeli domestic cattle. The result will be the introduction of red Angus breed to Israel. 3 decades of research and preparation have led us to a special day, the Institute statement. During the period known as the 3 weeks, as world Jewry mourns the destruction of the second Holy Temple, the Temple Institute has taken a bold step towards the third.
I wonder if they realize that If it's a genetically modified red heifer, it's not a true red heifer.
Don't seem to be the case. Don't seem to be the case.
Because, that's kind of like a perversion of the pure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd think that, but it doesn't seem to be the case. I think they've signed off on the idea. It's okay.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
The last 7 days, we'll be right back.